foreign legal consultant, it's very important to understand that a foreign legal consultant is someone who can practice in Canada without going through the lawyer licensing process that I've been talking about. But the key thing to note is that a foreign legal consultant cannot practice Canadian law. They can practice law of their home jurisdiction in Canada. So what does that mean? So I'll give you an example to make it a little bit more simpler. So let's say that you are an immigration lawyer in Australia and you practice Australian immigration law and you have clients in Australia and you help them move to Australia. Now you're moving to Canada, but you still just want to keep practicing Australian law. Like you will still help people move to Australia and not practice Canadian law at all. So what can you do? In this situation, you may be able to apply for a foreign legal consultant license. And if that license is approved, then you can practice Australian law in Canada. Just be very careful that you cannot practice Canadian law. And do your own research, of course. I'm going to put some links down in the description box below, but it's very interesting because it lets you practice your law in the one that you've been experienced in, and if you have a practice, but you don't have to go through the lawyer licensing process. Now, how do you get this license? How much does it cost? What does this mean? If you're interested, then stick around. So who can apply for this foreign legal consultant license? So the criteria is simple. First and foremost, you must be licensed to practice law in your home jurisdiction. So let's say, again, you're an immigration lawyer in Australia, you must be licensed. So the Law Society of Australia or whatever province you're in, they will need to send your license to the Law Society in Canada to make sure that they can verify your credentials. The second thing to note is that you must be of good character, meaning that no criminal record, no issues, you have never been arrested, no record whatsoever. So you will, I guess, be required to do a background check. Not sure, but I'll put a description, in the description I'll put a link to the Law Society of Ontario and what they require. So this is the basic criteria. The foreign legal consultant license is issued for 1 year and it can be renewed. But renewal is, again, discretionary, meaning that it is up to the Law Society to grant you approval or not. And, you know, what do you have to do in order to get this? So you apply to the Law Society. I'm only going to be covering steps for Law Society of Ontario. I don't know what the process is like in other provinces, but of course feel free to research on it. In Ontario, you have to apply to the Law Society of Ontario. The application fee is around 565 Canadian dollars. Could change depending on when you apply. And it takes about 30 days for the Law Society to review it and confirm and issue you a permit if you meet the eligibility criteria. Once your permit is issued, you still have to pay a yearly fee to maintain that permit. I don't know exactly, it could range from anywhere between $1,000 to 2,500 Canadian dollars. And if your permit is extended, then you can continue practicing. Just be very mindful that, you know, if you want to practice law, which is your hometown, which you practice in your hometown, and you are in Canada, you need a foreign legal consultant permit to do so. Now, just what are my thoughts on this and what do I think about it? It's something I don't think a lot of people know about it, but my thoughts on it, just generally speaking, is this foreign legal consultant license can be helpful for someone who is probably a senior lawyer, has been practicing for many years, has a book of business in their hometown, moves to Canada for a better lifestyle, maybe for their children or whatever reason, and then wants to keep practicing that specific area and is not interested in actually practicing Canadian law at all. And, you know, if they're here for a short period of time, I think it makes sense. But if you just plan on living here, I don't know how long this permit can be extended for. This is something that you can find out. But overall, I think it's a good starting point. If let's just say that you move and you still want to continue practicing law, which is the law from your hometown, then this is a good starting point, in my opinion. I'll put some links in the description box below. Make sure you do your own research and figure out if this is something for you. But I felt like it's important to talk about it because a lot of people don't know about this, and this may be helpful to you if you're somebody who's just, if you're coming here maybe for a couple of years and just want to keep practicing your own area of the law.